Welcome back to Orange Pillars, where finals week 3 is complete. Oh, I stuffed that up.
Close
I
enough.
stuffed that up, so we're going to start that again.
Finals week 2.
Yes. Week 2 is wrapped up. There is only 4 teams remaining. And
Yes.
the 4 sides that finished in the top 4, which is no surprise.
Yeah,
really.
as it usually is, isn't it? What a waste of time the last 2 weeks have
Yes,
been.
that's
We could've
just my issue with the top 8, is how much of a waste of time it really is.
But I don't think there's a better system.
Top 5. Or top,
I don't think
I'd
so.
prefer top 4.
I think
but
there's too many teams in the league to do
true,
a top
but
5.
the top 4 are the best sides and should play in the playoff. But I
Yeah,
get it's
nah.
to keep the season longer.
I'm
and
happy with
make it
the-
more entertaining and make fans feel better because there's more of a chance they.
I don't know. I'm happy with the current system. I feel like it's
I'm
hard
happy.
enough.
I don't have an issue with it.
It's hard
but
enough to get into the top 8.
4 or top 5 would make so much more sense.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't know.
But who cares? Like,
Yeah.
top 8's fine, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like top 4, top 5. That's just
saying
too
that
hard.
top 5, like Dogs finished 6th. They would
Yeah.
have missed it. If
Well,
that
that's
was the
but
case.
that's what I mean. Like, it's so hard even just to get into the top 8. Like, you look at the 8th spot.
Yeah, I
like, it was
know.
such a fight for that. And then, like, if you cut it even further back, like, imagine the finals
But
droughts
we all know the
for
8.
some teams
top
outside
8
of the
is
top
literally
4.
for money and to keep the season longer and to just, I guess, have more teams there and more fan engagement.
I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just a Bulldogs fan that
Yeah,
is having the
I'm
finals in
happy
the
with
top
it as
8.
well,
But
but you've seen no one's ever won from outside the top.
I
4,
feel like
so
Tigers fans would be like, surely top 17.
yeah, imagine if they change that for the 4 Tigers.
Let's get into our. Usually it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Because there's only 2 games, there's no point in doing 5
Yeah.
because there's only 4 teams to choose
Yeah.
from. So we're doing 3 this week.
Yeah, to balance it out a bit, because obviously this week and this coming week and in the grand final as well, it's going to be 3 from now. And the first week of finals, there was 4 games. So that was 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. From now on, it's going to be 3, 2, 1. And then in the grand final, because it's only 1 game, but because it's such an important game, I feel like it deserves
5.
the 3, 2, 1.
yeah.
But like, so we're doing 3, 2, 1 for the 2 games, and it stays the same for the 1 game because
Yeah.
it's such an important game.
Anyway, should
Hopefully
we
it balances it out. You can start if you'd like.
I think you should start this week.
I'm going to go.
I just got a glimpse of your list, so.
Because you've seen I haven't even decided on my number 1.
Well, yeah, okay, but the other 2, yeah,
Or are yours the same?
we'll see.
All right. Well, I'm going to go. I'm literally deciding. I've been tossing and turning all day over my number 1. I'm going to go with Connor Watson
Okay.
at 1.
yeah.
I thought he had a very solid
Yeah,
game
okay.
for the Roosters. I had Victor Radley in the mix as well. I had even Iro from the Sharks
Yeah, I
in
had
the
Angus
mix.
Crichton, yeah, okay.
Oh, Angus, that's fair. But yeah, I'm going to go.
There's a name you said who I thought had a really good game in there. But
Yeah.
we'll wait and see.
Yeah, I'm going to go Connor Watson with 1. And then the other 2 I feel like are just clear cut. I've gone James Tedesco with 2 points and Braden Trindle
Yep.
with 3 points. I feel like that's pretty clear cut.
Similar. So, for me, 1 point, I've gone Will Kennedy.
Yeah,
'Cause I
okay.
thought he had a terrible game against the Storm and he absolutely shot the lights out.
Yeah,
I
fair.
thought he had an underrated game.
Yeah.
After Trindle, I thought he was the Sharks' second best player.
That's fair.
2 points, Braden Trindle. I
Yeah.
think there's no debate there. Like 3 points, I could have easily given him, but for 3 points, I've gone James Tedesco.
Oh,
For the
no
fact that you
way.
can-
You've given Tedesco points.
I have.
This never happens. This
Because
is an Orange
he
Feelers
was
first.
Outstanding on Saturday night.
I literally, I
Unstoppable.
was about to spray you for not giving Tedesco points. I was like, Zane, you can't hate him this much. Like,
I don't.
Oh, there
don't
you
have an issue
go.
with Tedesco, but I thought he was the player of the round. So
He never got points through the season. Obviously, in the grand final preview, we're going to do not our Dally M points, our OP player of the year, Orange Peelers player of the
and
year.
if it was 5 points, I would have given. Well, they would have been my top 3, but I would have given
Yeah.
Crichton 2 and Ruben Cotter 1.
Yeah. Cotter, even though he
even
didn't
though he
get
lost,
sin
he
bin. I was
was-
going to say even though he got
But
sin
I
bin, but he
thought,
didn't.
despite that, he was.
Yeah, that's
very
fair.
good.
Zane, tell us, what was your Reece Wester in the wet try
There's
of
a
the
few
week?
to choose from here, even though there was only 2 games. But I've gone James Tedesco's first try
Yeah, okay.
when he went over to Tupou and Tupou went back on
Yeah.
the inside. But there was heaps of Roosters tries that were just.
I
so
thought you
the
might have
Dom
gone
Young
with.
try right at the end.
I thought you might have gone with Trindle's corner
Trindle's,
post try.
that was my next option.
He turned into Trindle's Lesniak.
That was my next option, but I'm like, I've just got to go Tedesco's one. I think.
So yeah, Tedesco's
But
try of the week.
Manu's one where he caught it with one hand and just flicked it out
Yes,
with ease. to
that-
Dom
yeah, that
Young.
was a great
up
try.
there, but
Yeah.
yeah. James Tedesco also wins the Reece Wester in the wet try of the week.
It's
Just
James
flying
Tedesco's
this
week,
isn't
isn't
he?
it?
Yeah.
Far out. He's won an award named after a Souths player.
Yeah.
You don't see that too
Yeah,
often.
former South legend.
You don't see
Reece
Zane
Wester.
handing out awards to Roosters players often at all.
Well, when they deserve it, I will.
Yeah,
I
okay.
think they achieved it.
Let's review some games. I was going to start with Cowboy Sharks, but we're speaking of Tedesco. We're speaking of the Roosters game. So let's start right there and there. Manly, they lose to the
You
Roosters.
tipped Manly in there.
Sucked in, Manly. That's what you get for beating the
Yeah,
Bulldogs.
well, why are Dogs fans celebrating this loss for Manly?
because
who got flogged by an injured Roosters team, which just now makes the Bulldogs' loss look even worse.
But I don't think it does make our loss look worse. It's
I
more
think
of
it does.
it's more of a thing of like sucked in. You beat us and now you lost.
But I would more, if I got knocked out by a team, I'd prefer that team to win the
I
next
understand
week, just
your-
to make it look like it was actually a
I do
given
understand
loss,
your point.
because they got flogged, man.
But I feel like everyone sort of knows we were the better team against Manly anyway. It's not like we
Yes,
lost to
but
them. Like we lost
do
to
you think
them,
the
but we're the
Bulldogs
better
win
team.
that game on Saturday if they made it through?
I think we would have done better than Manly.
Yeah,
I don't know if we
okay,
would have
I don't
won.
know.
I feel like we would have done better than Manly, especially like, given the conditions. Like we saw Manly, they lost 2 players in the first
Yeah.
15 seconds, which made it pretty hard to win the game.
Yeah,
So,
Hargraves was very. Yeah, I'm not going to get into it though.
well, you think he should have been Sindin?
Yes.
No way.
Because he raised the elbow.
No,
to the
he
face.
didn't.
Well, it's different when Latrell does it.
I don't
isn't
think
it?
he raised the
It's
elbow.
different when Latrell does it.
Yeah, it's
though.
because Latrell's a grub, bro.
Yeah, so's Rio Hargraves.
No, he's not.
Oh.
Nah, I didn't have a problem with his run at all. I
Just
tipped
coming back
Manly. I
from
wanted Manly
suspension
to
and
win
being
in that
sin
sense.
bins in the first tackle of the
Yeah.
game. Just imagine that.
Well, my bold prediction on TBC Live was him to get sinned in. So, no, I didn't have a problem with it. I tipped Manly. I wanted Manly to win, so I would have preferred him get sinned in. But even I was like, nah, play on. Just Almeida had his head in the wrong spot. It was unfortunate, but it was just tough after literally the first 15 seconds, Zane.
Yeah.
And Manly just were never really in the game
Poor
after
Jake
that.
Trebojevic. See him just like rattle
Yeah.
around. He's like, I'm fine.
Yeah, he passed.
Yeah, he did
to
pass,
be fair.
so he was fine. But poor
Yeah.
Cronulla, like,
What did you make of the game as a whole?
Just Roosters domination. And I literally predicted this game. I did not. Well, what was the margin? 24 in the end. I've said by
Yeah.
16. And I
Yeah.
said Tedesco would have a blinder. That's
Yeah.
exactly what happened. And it was based off the fact that Manly can't seem to ever back up a good performance all
Yeah.
year. They'll have a good performance and they'll get flogged the next week. And that's
Yeah. Well,
just how
even
Manly's
like
season's
even
gone.
the Bulldogs game, like we said it last week, how Manly weren't even really the better team. So I wonder if they sort of came into this one with a bit of false confidence.
I think they were confident.
Yeah.
But
But like, is it false confidence where they just weren't as much of a chance as they probably thought they were?
I just think the Roosters were just way too good.
Yeah,
for it.
'cause,
Like,
they
I
blew
still
them off
think
the park.
Manly, I still think could have beat a lot of the bottom sides. Like they weren't terrible in this game despite conceding 40.
Yeah.
I thought they really gave it a crack. In
Yeah,
some
and as I said, like the opening 15 seconds
and
was
the
not
Roosters
helpful.
did not give Trebojevic a chance at all to do anything. Like
Yeah.
they were all over him. So same with Cherry Evans.
The forward pack, the Manly forward pack was dominated,
Yeah,
and
the
so
second
was
was
Cherry
very
Evans.
good.
Yeah, they pressured Cherry Evans so
Brooks
well.
had a bit of a. He was under a lot of pressure. I think the Roosters did well.
His
on
first
Brooks.
finals loss.
Yeah, kicked it out in the full twice. I think.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
he had a,
a real Tigers performance from Luke Brooks. Saying,
well, I guess good on him.
Good on
people
him.
at the Tigers congratulating Luke Brooks.
Oh.
I was like, what was that about?
do you reckon they consoled him after the loss?
Like, why are clubs like congratulating?
It's so
former players?
sad.
Like, would you see us coming out and saying, "Oh, congratulations, Luke Keary, on making it to
Yeah.
the prelim"?
Or like Bulldogs for Harrison Edwards at the
or
Cowboys.
to beat up Bang
Yeah.
or something like.
Like
I just don't like. Why did they do that?
It's because it's such an ugly breakup where they're like the crazy ex-girlfriend that just can't let go.
That was just so
Yeah.
random. Like,
Let go.
congratulations, Luke.
He's
Brooks.
gone.
Like,
Move
why are you
on.
celebrating Manly? Like,
Yeah.
I just don't get it.
It was very, very weird. I saw like Luke Brooks was like a club legend or anything, respectfully too.
No,
Like, he
no,
never
but,
won
like-
anything at the Tigers.
Like you didn't see the Tigers like back in 21 when South made the grand final. Oh, congratulations, Benji Marshall. Like that didn't happen. Like why Luke Brooks and like why
Yeah,
now?
I
Like,
I really don't get it.
it's a weird statement for
Like
them.
fair if he's like retired and you're like congratulating him on retired, but and it's not even a premiership. He's won an elimination final in week one.
Weird
His
statement for
team
them to
came
make.
seven.
Like I don't get it.
Ugh, so dumb. Maybe that cursed Manly a little bit into this game.
Yeah,
Did
like-
it? Oh, I think it did because that was
Stay out
the
of it,
first 15
Tigers. You
seconds.
don't want to
Yeah,
sabotage 'em.
yeah. I think that Tigers aura around the Manly joint this week clearly had an impact on their
like-
ability to play football.
It just shocked me. I'm like, what are they doing?
Yeah, it was weird. The Roosters though, they were very, very good. They were clinical. I read online a anonymous Roosters fan said if they play like that, they'll beat anyone.
Yeah, I heard that as well. I
Thoughts?
don't. No, I don't agree.
Yeah, I don't either.
Because they have played like that all year, flog teams. But
Yeah.
when they do it against the top sides, it doesn't seem to work, does it?
Yeah, I don't. I think there's some people that are a bit too high on that performance. I
Yes.
think it was a
Maybe
like
because they were
Roosters
there
were
in
good,
person at
but
a sold-out stadium. It
Yeah.
felt like they were a lot better than what they
I-
were.
like
the
they were
atmosphere,
good,
that
but-
does happen. The atmosphere makes it feel like
Yeah.
it was a lot better. But I still think they had faults in that game. Like they
Yeah.
still conceded 16 points.
yeah. And
Like,
like
you
I can't stress enough. Like I keep saying it, but Manly lost a centre in the first player of the game.
I found a lot of those tries.
And then Jake Trebojevic.
A lot of those tries in the second half were very soft.
Yeah.
Like Manly were sort of just not rattled, but just sort of just like too late now.
And like historically this year, Manly's defense hasn't been great.
Yeah,
like,
neither has the Roosters,
overall.
though.
Yeah, but like 40 points against Manly, like it looks good, but I don't think it's as good as it seems, especially when you take into account like they scored a try pretty late, which like in a finals game, it's like by that point Manly are checked out. So like it's only really like mid-30s, and yeah, I don't know. I feel like Roosters were good. I'm not trying to say Roosters weren't good. They were very good, and they very much deserved to win. But I just don't think they were as good as some people are suggesting.
Yes,
I feel like
I agree.
Rolling into Melbourne next week, like they're not as much as a
extreme
chance
confidence
of
like
yeah,
that.
no way.
I know there's a lot of Roosters supporters now that are like, we're beating Melbourne.
Yeah.
I'm like, well,
Yeah,
we'll
I
have to
don't
wait
know.
and see.
Yeah, especially like Melbourne have been the best team all year. Roosters have struggled against Melbourne and Penrith
And
historically.
the Sharks they didn't beat. So none of the teams remaining the Roosters have beat.
Yeah, so
Actually, they lost to every team in the top 5 because Cowboys beat them as well.
yeah.
But Cowboys are gone, so I don't know why we're mentioning them. Like, they're irrelevant now.
Yeah, well, is there anything else in this game you
No,
want
we
to talk
just-
about, or shall we
Yeah,
talk about
Roosters
the Cowboys?
domination completely.
Yeah.
And I think I did kind of see it coming. Like,
Yeah,
I wanted
well,
to tip
you
Manly,
called
but I'm
it, you
like,
called
I think Roosters are going to dominate here.
Yeah,
The other game, however, I changed my tip.
you did technically.
Technically, nearly.
You didn't-
No,
well,
I
you
went with
didn't
the
even- you
Cowboys,
didn't
but
change
I
it, but
nearly did.
You attempted to change
Yes.
it according to your TikTok.
But I was like, it's the Sharks in finals. But the Sharks, I think, does the scoreline sum up how dominant they were? I thought they checked out a bit the second half. But
The halftime scoreline did. It was 24-0 at halftime.
yeah, so Cowboys, I guess. But I thought Cowboys played okay in the first half. Like the first 15 minutes, I thought the Cowboys were really good.
Yeah.
And then that penalty try happened, and then that kind of just belted the Cowboys from there.
Yeah, the momentum swung very heavy with the penalty try. Let's get that out of the
I
way.
thought the first 15 minutes, Cowboys were the better
What was
team.
your take on the penalty try? Did you think it should be a penalty try or should not have
I
been
think
a
it should have
penalty
been a
try?
sin bin. Because I reckon
And not a
Dearden
penalty
would have
try.
got there first.
See, I feel
I
like
think Dearden was...
I disagree. I don't think Dearden was that close. I think Trindle would have scored.
I think it would have been a
However,
race for the ball.
I think, in my opinion, Trindle scores that try, but I'm not 100% sure he scores a try, so it should have been
I disagree.
a
I
sin
think
bin.
Dearden would have... Just being Tom Dearden, I feel like he would have done enough to get rid
Yeah,
of it
see,
before.
I don't think so. But like I'm agreeing in the sense, I don't think it should have been a penalty try.
I think it should have been a
because you're
sin bin.
not certain that he would have
Yes,
scored.
exactly.
You're meant to be certain that he would have scored. In my opinion, he would have scored. But that's my opinion. Like you're sitting here saying he wouldn't have, and that right there shows, well, it's not a
I don't
certainty
reckon he
then,
would
is
have.
it? Like if anyone's out here being like, oh, he wouldn't have, then it's not a certainty, so it probably shouldn't have been a penalty try. But the way it's been this year is like sort of just whoever's in the bunker sort of vibes it, and it's their opinion rather than a certainty. So I can understand why it was a penalty try, because as I said, in my opinion, he would have scored. But I feel like it probably should have been a sin bin because I'm not certain that he would have scored. I feel like, however, the Cowboys, if there's any fans complaining that it wasn't a sin bin, I feel like a sin bin would have been worse for Cowboys.
Yes, because I reckon it would have
Yeah,
got worse for him.
because it was Ruben Cotto, who's such a key player. So I feel like Cowboys got let off the hook in that sense, where a try is probably a better result. But then Sharks scored like the next set, and that's when the ball really started to roll. Trindle had the hot hand. He was dominating.
He was outstanding this game.
He was just
So was Will
everywhere.
Kennedy.
Yeah. But yeah,
Hines was a bit... Yeah.
See, I don't know what
Hines
Hines...
took a
Hines
step
should
back
not
here.
be copied as much hate as he
He
is.
shouldn't be, but he took a step back in this game.
But he
I
took
don't think he was that good.
he took a step back because everyone else was on fire. That's his job.
Yeah,
There's
but
no need
I
for
don't
him
think
to.
Hines had that good of a
There's
game,
he,
mate. That's
but he
fine.
didn't need to. There's no need for him to step in and try and force tries if Trindle's on fire. Like Nico Hines' job is to win games of football, and so when his halves partner's on fire like that, he did a really mature thing where he took the step back and let him lead them to victory instead of being selfish and being like, no, this is my team. I want to set up the tries. So I feel like the criticism of Nico in this game is just unfair because, like, what do you want him to do? Just push Trindle out of the way and say, hey, no, it's my turn.
No,
Let me set
absolutely
up.
not,
You got to let Trindle cook.
Like,
Let him cook.
I thought if you watch this game, the Cowboys were so aggressive on Hines. Whenever he got the ball,
Yeah.
they were like slamming him to the floor, just I think
Yeah.
to try and rattle him a bit.
But
And I think it
obviously
did
that's going to
work.
be your game plan going.
I'm not trying to hate on Hines here, but I don't think he was outstanding.
But he
in this
didn't
game.
need to be
Yeah,
because
he didn't
Trindle
need
was
to
on
be, but
fire.
I
I
just
feel like
thought
he took a step back
he just
intentionally.
looked
where
very
it's just,
quiet, like he was
but he
a
didn't.
bit worried.
I
That's my
don't
opinion
think so.
on
I
how
feel
he-
like he just took a step back because he was just letting Trindle cook, and that's what he needed to do. Like it would have been so dumb if he's watching Trindle on fire and has gone, oh, like no, let me look at Storm for example. If Cameron Munster has an insane game and sets up 3 tries and scores 2 tries, I'm not sitting here going, oh, Jerome Hughes was a bit quiet.
Yeah,
Like,
but
when a
Hughes,
player's on
it depends
fire,
on how involved he is.
But that's like, you don't need to be involved when the other half is
It's
involved.
the same with the
It's a
2018 grand
balance.
final with Cronk and Kiri.
Yeah.
Like, Cronk didn't have to do anything because
Yeah.
Kiri decided he'd have such
Like,
a good game.
the halfback's job is to win games. And if setting up tries and scoring tries is what wins them the game, then that's what he has to do. But if stepping back and letting the guy that's, cooking, that has the hot hand, if that's what wins them the game, then you got to do that. Like, that's his job at the end of the day, is winning games. And he just won their first finals game since 2018.
Yeah, it's a very long time.
Yeah.
But I mean, Cowboys' second half, they were a lot better. Like, they really did compete at one point. I thought
Well,
it could have gone down to the wire, but
You could argue like Sharks had a right to sort of switch off in the second half because the game was pretty much over at half time. But 18-2 second half.
I wouldn't say that because I remember one time at that same venue, Cowboys came back from 30-0.
Yeah. And that's where it's like
30-0 half
the
time.
second half, 18-2, it did look like the Cowboys were going to get them at one stage, but the Sharks just held on and it was
I
too
mean, I
late.
guess with the Cowboys, overall just a pretty solid year. Like, they
Yeah.
struggled at the start. They had a 5-game losing streak, which, like, I think they hit their peak at the right time of the year.
Yeah.
But, if they had one more win, they would have made top 4 over the Sharks.
Yeah.
Like, I think people forget how, like, Cowboys actually had a...
Maybe a bit of an underrated season.
Yeah. Because they did lose 5 in a row. But since Magic Round, they lost 3 games.
Yeah.
So that's, like, 14, like,
something
like that. Like, they lost
They were on a
like,
bit of a streak,
Yeah, but that was just kind of an under-the-radar streak. Like, no one really... Maybe it was because of the amount of points they conceded and everyone was just looking at them as, like, fluky wins. But they beat the Panthers, they beat the Roosters, they beat the Storm, they beat the Sharks.
The Bulldogs twice, which is
flogged
huge.
The Bulldogs, they beat... No, they didn't beat Manly. And they beat the Knights. So they had a pretty decent
run.
year, the Cowboys. Like,
I
I
want
guess
to
at this point, Sharks are just too good for them.
I want to give a shout out to Kyle Felt, who has ended his NRL career in very sad fashion.
Yeah,
But
what's your favourite Kyle Felt moments? Tough one here, isn't it?
I'm going to go his appearance in Origin.
Oh, okay.
What about you? What's your
I'm
favourite
going to go
Kyle
when he
Felt moment?
scored the try in the grand final.
Oh,
When
yeah.
first
I don't
went.
even think of it. No, yeah, easily. That's one of, like, that's arguably the greatest rugby league moment of all time. Maybe the Cleary try last year surpasses it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that
Or
Kyle
what
Felt
about-
try is
what
just
about the
iconic.
Big Burgess try in the 14 grand final.
I don't remember that.
He just walked
But yeah,
over
Kyle-
8 people.
Don't remember it. Kyle Flanagan. No, not Kyle Flanagan. Kyle Felt.
Kyle Felt,
Shout
yeah.
out to Kyle Flanagan, though. Sorry, Kyle F. Yeah, his NRL career has come to an end. Very, very sad. I feel like that was the moment in the game where it was sort of over when he went off.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't put it all down to Kyle Felt.
I'm not saying it.
but-
I'm not saying it was over because he said, but like that was the point where the momentum was sort of swinging,
Yeah,
and
then Holmes got injured.
they
as
threw
well.
the forward pass, and that was.
But
Sort
the game
of
was
it.
over by the time Holmes
Yeah.
went off. But what about the attendance here? How pathetic was that? And I know there were train strikes on Friday. Trust me, I was pretty annoyed. But
Yeah,
like, I don't think they'll heavily affect them in Cronulla.
yeah,
Cronulla is so easy to get on a train and go straight to Central.
Yeah.
They had the march outside the ground. You see that?
Yeah.
With like 20 people.
Well, what about them spending all week advertising the
G-Train,
G train, and then the G train got
There were,
cancelled?
the Cowboy supporter bay was more full than the Sharks
Yeah.
supporter bay.
Babe, but they had their
But-
mark. What did they call it? The shark
Something like that
sliver or
with-
something?
Yeah, with Wade Graham.
Shiver. The
Yeah.
shark shiver.
It just pathetic attendance, and they got to be a lot better this week at a core.
Yeah, which they won't be.
They won't be. If they can't do it at Allianz, they're not going to do it.
And
at
like no disrespect to Panthers fans, but they don't have the largest fan base either. So Akul, I'm gonna hot take less than 50k.
Well, when
Bulldogs had
when
50k
when
week
Penrith
one.
played Souths in a prelim, it was 60k in
Yeah.
22.
I think Storm Panthers last year was 50 or 60.
Yeah, I reckon. I still reckon it's 2 Sydney teams, so I still reckon it'll be over 50.
That's why it's a hot take, Zane. I reckon
Yeah.
that's a hot take under
I
50k
disagree. I
this
think it
week.
will be.
I reckon
I
the
reckon-
Bulldogs week one crowd bigger than the three-peat
I
Panthers
disagree.
against the Sharks in a prelim.
Yeah, no, you might be right there, but what was that crowd?
50, just over 50.
I reckon.
like 57.
I reckon it'll get at least
50.7.
That's it.
I'm gonna go under 50. That's a hot take for you.
But like, you look at this game, and then you look at the AFL next door. Like, it just looked pathetic.
Yeah, it was
really
embarrassing.
It was embarrassing.
I think they should have added a CommBank.
Yeah, but no, I don't think so, because there would have been less people.
Do you reckon?
I don't reckon that, like, there's Sharks fans that travel to Allianz because it's at Allianz.
Is Allianz closer to Cronulla than CommBank?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
absolutely it is.
Yeah, okay.
You just go straight up the train line to Central.
But I'm not thinking.
CommBank, you
I'm
gotta
not thinking
go.
just trains though. Like people drive.
Yeah, I know. I reckon there would have been less Sharks supporters at CommBank.
Yeah,
as well,
fair enough.
Honestly.
I just think Sharks. Like, what are you doing as a fan base? Seriously.
They don't, if you don't know,
Like, they
people
just don't
who live
have
in the Shire
fans.
don't like leaving the Shire.
Yeah.
That's the go there.
It's just like obviously against an interstate team, like I'll cut you a bit of slack there, but just do better as a
wasn't the
fan
interstate
base.
team, like, the Cowboys
That's what
did
I meant.
well.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
did well. They
That's
were
where
better
the
than the
issue
Sharks.
is. Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
But
There were, like, it wasn't even 50% capacity.
no.
Like, what was the crowd? 20,000?
23,000. Terrible.
Like, yeah, that is
South
average.
played Parramatta there in the Indigenous round and got nearly 30,000 last year in a regular season game.
Yeah, that's not good enough.
Don't get it.
Like, it's an elimination final. And it's not like half the Sharks fans are Swans fans
the
either.
2016 to the prelim
Yes,
that they had at Allianz?
Yeah.
I mean, that was the bandwagon time, so they probably
This one?
Yeah, I want to have a look at the crowd.
I don't know if it... 36,000.
Okay, see, that's better.
Yeah.
Like, when else did they played the...
And for the listeners, that's a Sharks-Cowboys prelim final.
They also
in
played each
2016.
other 2017 when the Cowboys upset them.
Let's have a look.
Remember when Shane Flanagan walked in with the notepad and all the...
So this is week 1, 2017, Sharks-Cowboys at Allianz. 16,000.
Yeah.
Even worse.
I just think that was a week 1 elimination, but
Yeah.
still, like, that's just...
Yeah, not good enough. Anything else out of that game?
No, we've discussed it all. That's
it.
Our wrap up for the reviews.
That's our review. It feels good to be back reviewing games of rugby league, Zane. I just feel very, very good about it. Before we get into previewing this week's game, which I know it's real coin flip stuff, these games, Zane. I don't know what's going to happen this week. Very hard to predict.
This first game's a coin flip.
But before we get into the previews, we're going to talk a bit of news because there's a bit going on, especially today. I want to start off. We've mentioned the Tigers a little bit. Today, it has been not revealed, but somebody discovered. Shout out to Donny Sports. The Tigers got the spoon in 5 grades.
I discovered it the other
First
day,
grade,
actually.
New South Wales Cup,
The women's.
NRLW, Jersey
Ball.
Flag, and SG Ball. The Tigers got the spoon in all 5 comps.
That fourth club. I thought they had a good development list coming through.
Well, they clearly don't.
Like, that's what everyone's saying.
Do we move them to Perth?
No.
Do we make them the very West Tigers?
Yeah, well, we'll have to see. I don't think they're the team that relocated. I think the Sharks.
They're not good. As a club, they're not good.
Yeah, well.
5 spoons in 1 year.
Because I was going to make a TikTok the other day, and it was like throwback to NRL in 2013, just like a nostalgia sort of video.
Yeah.
Like, and the Tigers were still shit.
Yeah, it's just like, I think eventually enough's enough. We're talking about getting new teams in. Papua New Guinea apparently coming in now. Let's just we've got a Perth team confirmed. Push the Tigers to Perth and bring in North Sydney Bears just in Sydney and just make the Tigers the very West Tigers. I just think it's time to fold them.
I think if we're removing a team from Sydney, I don't want another team coming in. Unfortunately,
No, that is fair. But even I just don't want the Tigers in, and that's like I think we need less teams in Sydney.
Yeah, but at the same time, that's annoying because there'll be more travelling.
Yeah,
you have a home game against
very
an
true.
away game. So.
That's an interesting topic. If you could fold one NRL team right now, say we have to cut a team.
Roosters.
Let me rephrase the question. Who do you think is the most likely team? Like if the NRL had to fold a team, like who's the most likely team that like has to be folded? So think of like teams that don't make money and don't have big crowds because they're the newest.
Yeah, well, if I was to choose, I'd choose them.
But
just because they're.
But it's not. We're not going like you have to choose someone. Like think about like financially and fan bases. Like if we have a Super League war again, and it's the top 16 teams based on money, crowds.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think.
History.
I think Storm are safe. Raiders are
Look,
safe.
I think it's got to be a Sydney team.
I think I heard years ago it was always between Cronulla and Manly.
See, I'm thinking
probably
Sharks.
Cronulla, but even I think all 4 of the Queensland teams are safe.
Yeah.
Because they.
I know Dolphins and Titans are the 2 newest, but I feel like we just need the Queensland.
I don't think they'd ever get rid of the Gold Coast.
I think we need the Queensland
rumors that has gone on for years. I don't think the Gold Coast will ever get removed.
Yeah, I think
Warriors,
we need.
I think they'll keep.
They're safe. New Zealand.
I'd say the Sharks would be the most likely, or the Dragons.
Oh.
And I know people would want to go on this drag, but you look.
Maybe you go Dragon.
The Sharks have that area as well. Like you do it in an area that's shared by 2 teams, but Roosters, Rabbitohs have to stay. You
almost cut Sharks and go like Dragons. Give that area back to Dragons, or you cut Dragons and go like South Coast Sharks.
Or you can South Coast Sharks
and give them a bigger area.
But Souths and Roosters are in the exact same area, but they're 2 clubs that you can't merge them. That would just
they're all safe. Like Bulldogs, Eels, Souths, Roosters, they're all big clubs. They're all safe.
Imagine if Souths and the Roosters merged. Just imagine
usually
the fans collaborating, the board coming together.
Let's look at it this way, Zane. You've got 17 teams in the NRL right now. How many of them have been kicked out of the NRL before?
Well, South, but that was...
So maybe you just get rid of South again.
But no,
maybe you just get rid of them again.
Can't get rid of the
Historically, they're the most likely to get kicked out because it's happened.
That will never happen again.
Historically, they're the most likely. What about Knights? Do you reckon they're
Newcastle
safe?
Needs to stay.
Speaking of the Knights, Zane, Kalen Ponga has come out and said no to Australia. He's pulled himself out of consideration.
Is it because he knew he might not get selected, or?
Well, I think he would have got selected.
Like Darius Boyd in 2018, where he retired a week before selection because he knew he wasn't going to get picked.
Well, I think he would have got picked, though. That's the thing. Because Edwards is out. Yeah. He's going to go for surgery on his leg.
Yeah, so it'll be Tedesco,
and so it's out of Tedesco and Ponga.
Which, I mean, why not Tedesco?
Why not Ponga, though?
Ponga's decided not to. So
Tedesco's getting it Stephen Bradbury style. Maybe give Connor Tracy a run. But yeah, what do you make of Kalen Ponga saying no? Is that like, do you think he thought he wasn't going to get it? Because he's come out and said that his full focus is on... What about
Reece Walsh? Do you think he's...
Yeah, well, he's in the mix as well, 100%. Nah.
Tommy, Turbo.
Yeah, maybe. Like, I'd be more inclined to play
There's a lot of Pappenhausen. There's a lot of options, though. But
I think Tedesco's probably gets it. Yeah, Ponga said that he wants to focus on winning a premiership at the Knights. That's his main goal. Do you think he needs to leave the Knights to win a premiership?
Yes, I do. I mean, you never know what could happen. Like, I did my TikTok today, and it says Knights are winning next year against the Tigers. So we'll have to wait and see
random filter. Yeah, let's cross that.
But I mean, I don't think he's winning one at the Knights. Yeah, especially within the next few years, where they're pretty much blowing up the club. Yeah,
well, they're almost going into a rebuild, so it's like, it was a bit of a weird. Like, obviously, like your goal should be to win premierships, but I also, even if Knights were in their premiership winning business, like if their window was open, I still feel like. Is going and playing a couple games for Australia really distracting you that much? Like, maybe is he worried about getting injured, I guess? But
probably, yeah.
Like, surely just go represent you. Is it rude to Australia?
Not really.
And what does this say about, like, players, you know, how they feel towards international games? Because if this was Origin, I don't think this happens.
I feel like he's just... Is there a big waste of time?
Yeah, like, is that what they are?
The thing is, they're a waste of time to Australians, but when you get to, like, Pacific Islands, they love these games. They're their favourite games. But for Australia, we're just like, we always win, like, 40-0, and that's it.
Well, we lost last year.
Who cares?
We lost last year.
Yeah, that's a rare occurrence. Yeah. But, like, you know.
But that's what I mean, right? Like, we lost last year. We should have Aussies begging to get into this team to redeem our country, and we just don't.
You look back at the pathetic World Cup a few years ago. Yeah. Every game, it was just a blowout in every game.
But yeah, like
poor Jamaica. I remember Jamaica. They scored a try, being down 80-0.
They had cool jerseys.
Yeah, they were down 80-0 or something. Scored a try.
I just feel like the international game is not where it should be. I feel like players should be begging to play for Australia. I know, like, but where's the pride in your country?
Leagues only played in England and Pacific, like Oceania. Like, but Africa don't care about it.
But I'm just like the Aussie spirit.
Asia
where's the Aussie spirit, Zane? Like, you should be proud to represent your country. You see us lose to New Zealand last year and you should be going, no, I want to go and play for Australia and redeem my country. But I guess Newcastle's more important than Australia. I guess that's a bigger thing. Maybe Joey Johns is in his ear saying, get a premiership for the Hunter. Speaking of Hunters, Ben Hunt. What a segue. That was an accident, that one. Ben Hunt, rumoured to be linked to the Bulldogs. I thought I'd toss this one in as a Bulldogs fan.
Weird. Why the Bulldogs? I don't think they're a club that needs him, though.
I wouldn't mind Ben Hunt.
If Bulldogs finished 14th this year, I would have liked that. But why change what worked?
Yeah.
Like, Sexton had a good year.
Yeah.
Then what do you think that would do to him?
If Ben Hunt came in, Sexton's gone because it'd be Ben Hunt and then Mitch Woods.
Yeah, well,
essentially, where if we keep...
What's the other club he was linked to? Titans.
Broncos and Titans. And the whole yarn, though, that's what confuses me.
No, don't... They've got Adam Reynolds, who's at the end of his career. They've got Ben Hunt.
Hooker bar. They reckon he'll play hooker. That's what the rumors were last year.
I reckon Titans would be the best suit for him.
I think the thing that confuses me with him being linked to Bulldogs is for the last 2 to 3 years, every time it's come up that Ben Hunt wants to leave, it's always been to go home to Queensland.
Yes.
And newsflash, the Bulldogs aren't Queensland. That's Bankstown.
That's what I reckon it has to be. Yeah, well, even
Titans
Dolphins, I wouldn't think would be a
I think Titans is the most likely. But they've got so many halves.
Yeah, but like Foreign's on
even
his
just
last
hooker
legs,
bar.
But again, I feel like hooker. Like they lost Aaron Clark. They have Chris Randall last year as a hooker. I don't know who. They had a lot of players, but Hunt is the Titans are the type of club that need a player like Hunt.
Yeah.
They're a very young team, and they need they've got Kieran Foran there now, but having Ben Hunt and Kieran Foran there for a year at least would really.
Well, look, I'd as a Bulldogs fan, I'd take him. I've seen a lot of Bulldogs fans saying they wouldn't.
Would.
Obviously, at the Bulldogs, it means Toby Sexton is being discarded and you're moving on from him, which I feel like he's in a good spot where he's developing.
Well, I mean, I'd like to see South pick him up.
If Ben Hunt comes into the Bulldogs, he's probably got 2 years left in him. He plays 2 years, puts us in like premiership hunt. Like I feel like him in our team, we're contending for grand finals. Because we need a halfback.
I think it's the same as South Sydney now.
And I feel like you get 2 years and then Mitch Woods is ready to go, but it just means Sexton's just sort of
moved on.
Pushed aside. Would you play him at South in the halves?
Yes, with Cody Walker.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because there's rumours that Wayne Bennett wants to put Ilias to hooker next year, which I think's a very odd one.
Do you reckon Wyden's back to centre next year?
That's the go. Wyden and Graham. And then Ilias 9, Mamazoulis 14. That's the rumours.
And not just Mamazoulis 9. Why would he have Ilias off the bench?
Well. Ilias 14.
That's interesting.
Yeah, interesting. A few weeks ago, we were hearing Ilias would be leaving, but he's not. Bennett's decided to keep him, which I hope he does, and Ilias can prove himself.
Who's that Pom you picked up?
Lewis Dodd.
Yeah, what happens to him?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on. We'll have to see. Yeah,
because you lost that.
And he did kick the game winner against Penrith.
Because you have moved on a couple halves.
Dean Hawkins, yes.
Yeah, and the other guy,
but he's decided to keep Ilias. But I hope Ilias comes back next year and plays for South, because this season proved that Ilias was not the issue at the Rabbitohs, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The 2 games he played, he wasn't terrible in them.
Yeah.
Like, he ran down Jason Sub in Vegas, and that's about all he did this season. But apart from that,
you said he'd play Origin.
I did not say that. Well, I really want him to come back and redeem himself.
Yeah, he deserves it.
Because he proved this year he was not the issue of the club. So I think he was sitting back laughing like, oh, it's all my fault.
He was a scapegoat, wasn't he?
He was a scapegoat. It was the easy choice. And it was proved this year it was not him.
Yeah, fair enough.
They got worse without him.
You happy to preview some games?
Yes.
Let's do it. Finals. Prelims. Winner this week goes into the grand final. The loser goes to maybe Bali if they don't want to go to Bali.
Seeing prelims without Souths anymore. We made 5 in a row.
Yeah, true. That's
Hainsey. Hainsey's celebrating his prelim, but as he said a few weeks ago, the prelims mean nothing. There's no point in celebrating them.
Why?
Oh, that's what he said when I brought up South.
Tell that to Sharks fans.
That's what he made up. Yeah, well, he's acting as if.
I was actually driving through Cronulla last night, and all the porch lights were off already because they're just loving that they're in a prelim.
Yeah, well, Hainsey was saying, prelims mean nothing.
Yeah. We'll see how he feels when they lose this week.
Yeah, I'm proud we made the prelim. I'll be like, South doesn't matter, remember? It's a irrelevant stat. Anyway.
Storm Roosters. Storm are heavy favourites. This is in Melbourne. Obviously, Storm coming off a week rest. I want to say,
before the AFL Grand Final.
Shout out to Craig Bellamy. He was on that podcast last week. So obviously, they've enjoyed their week off. Do you reckon the Roosters look at that and go, hey, look at these guys. They're getting a bit cocky. Let's pump them?
I think that might have been some mind games even.
You reckon Craig Bellamy's playing mind games?
Aren't the Roosters focusing on making rap songs or something?
Yeah, it's true. So, yeah. We've got the podcast versus the rap album. It's very exciting this week.
American Aces.
Really, American Aces takes on, what's their band called?
I don't even
know. I don't know, but they said they're releasing a rap album. So we've literally got the podcast versus the rap album. It's Storm versus Roosters.
With referee, Grant Atkins.
No Ashley Klein. Who wins this one, Zane? And why?
I've tipped the Storm by 18.
By 18?
Yes. I think it's going to be tight for most part, but then someone will probably get injured from the Roosters and the Storm. Jerome Hughes will score 2 tries and Pappenhausen will get 1. That's my exact prediction.
There you go. Put your house on that.
I'm going to say Storm win 34-16.
34-16?
That's my exact scoreline for
why do you think the Storm are going to win this one?
Because I just think they're freshened up, and the Roosters, I think they're false confidence.
Yeah.
I think they're more likely to beat the Storm than the Sharks are to beat the Panthers.
Mm-hmm.
However, I can't see. You saw the Storm the last few weeks. I cannot see how they lose at this point.
What do you think the
Roosters... It's not a Storm Panthers grand final. Like, one of them are going to have to really choke in these games.
Do you think the Roosters need to do if they are to win?
They need to defend.
Yeah.
They need to focus on defense.
Yeah.
Instead of playing... See, the issue with the Roosters this year is they don't adjust their style against the top sides.
Yeah.
It works against the crap teams, but when it comes against the top sides, they shut it down.
Yeah.
And don't have players come out and leak their game plan like they did against the Panthers
the
week and say they're targeting clearing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they haven't done that so far, so I think...
So you're going Storm to win big by 18.
Yes.
I am going Storm as well, Zane.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought of my exact scoreline, but I'm going Storm. I'll give my exact scoreline in a second, but I'm going Storm in a big one, 13 plus, I think. I think Storm tear them apart. I just feel like off the week break, they've been the best team all year. I feel like the Roosters... Maybe they're now coming in with a bit of false confidence. I said the same about Manly for that game. I feel like, coming off a big win, but I don't think it was as big as they think it was. They got towed up by Panthers the week before. I feel like Storm as well with the Storm. They haven't actually won a prelim since 2020.
I know.
Which sounds like not that crazy because it's
Was
like,
a long
it's
time ago,
4
yeah.
years. But for the Storm standards as well, like they're always in grand finals. So I think they'll be very keen to get back to a grand final. It'll be their first grand final since Cameron Smith. So like it's a big game for Storm. I think they'll be looking at this one as a new era of the Melbourne Storm. You know, the post Cameron Smith. Let's prove that we're still, you know, the big dogs around here.
Want me to have a bold prediction this game? Trent Robinson to complain in the press conference after the game.
Is that bold?
It probably will be.
I'm gonna go Storm to win 30-6. I'm going big.
You're going bigger than me.
I think it'll be
I think Roosters have it to score a couple of tries though. That's why I'm saying
true.
16.
I Storm defensively though, they're pretty rock solid.
I feel like Roosters will.
The way I see this game playing out is Storm have, you know, maybe like a 12-point, like a 2-score lead for like a long time. Like it's pretty even at halftime. Maybe like 12-6 halftime, then Storm score early, and then they're just battling, and then the last 10 minutes.
That's exactly what I think is going to happen. I think it's going to be a tight game, and then like a Roosters player, like Tesco will get injured or something. And then
I feel like Storm will score a couple late, Roosters will fall out, which seems to happen in prelims a little bit. I remember Panthers Storm last year.
Last year was just blowout for both of them, wasn't it?
Yeah. Speaking of Panthers, the other game is Panthers and Sharks.
With referee Ashley Klein.
Now, Panthers heavier favourites in the Storm in this one. They're just like pretty much what you'd expect, though. Like it's against the Sharks, respectfully. How do you think the Panthers go here? Are Sharks a chance?
I don't think so.
Not a chance.
I've tipped the Panthers by 26.
Panthers by 26?
I think they're going to pump the Sharks.
Far out.
And to be exact, I'm going to say 42-16.
40? You reckon the Sharks are going to get 40 in a prelim?
Unfortunately.
What do you say, 42-16?
Mm-hmm.
40.
Well, I mean, Warriors had 40 put them in a prelim last year, so it's not...
true.
I don't know. I feel like Sharks...
That's a lot of points.
Will be good for the first 10 minutes. Then some tries will just start piling on, and that I just have a feeling this is going to be an absolute blowout.
So I agree.
You can clip this as well if I'm wrong. Like if this is a tight game and Sharks win, you can clip this and roast me all you like. But I feel like Penrith are going to flog them here.
It's like those Facebook groups where it's like roast me and you have to put in a selfie and all the comments just roast you. It's a weird concept. Have you seen that? It's a thing on like Reddit and Facebook. It's like roast me. You post a photo and everyone just roasts you. I guess like, I don't know, humbling. Yeah. I don't know. I think Panthers going to flog the Sharks as well. I just feel like, just like the Storm,
42
Panthers,
26.
they're the 3-time premiers. They're just the best, you know, outside of the Storm, the best team this year. Cleary, I think he's in for a big one. And I just feel like the Sharks are sort of pretenders in the prelim. I don't see them as a prelim team.
Where it's not Sharks win. I just can't see a scenario where Penrith lose.
Yeah, that's fair.
I just cannot see
But I just don't really rate Sharks as a team that should be in a prelim. They've proven me wrong a lot this year. They've been very good this year, but up against the Panthers in a prelim. This is the Sharks' first prelim since what, 2016?
2018.
2018?
Yeah.
And
Billy Slater shoulder charge game.
The Panthers have been in the last 4 prelims, so I just feel like the Panthers, they're so professional when it gets to this stage of the season. If you watch their documentaries, they've done 5
prelims actually for Penrith. 5
in a row. Oh, because this is the 5th, And just their documentary, they just show how like intricate their planning is for the games like this. So I think Panthers win big. I'm gonna go them to not leak heaps of points. I'm gonna go Panthers 25-8.
Right. Cleary field goal at the end.
8's a bit random, but isn't it? I'm gonna go 25-4.
Interesting.
Yeah, Cleary disrespectful field goal at the end. Just to say, screw you, Sharks.
And then Hines just collapses or something and just gets upset.
Yeah, I guess.
Probably.
But to be fair, I did just sort of tear the Sharks apart. I want to say the fact they've got to the prelims, that's a successful season for the Sharks.
I think so as well.
And I thought this year, they were going to miss the 8.
Their goal was just to win a finals game, I think.
I agree. 100% I agree, yeah. I think they've, not necessarily overachieved, but I think next year, they're set to go bigger with Adam Finnell-Blake. I feel like this year was a building year towards next year. And so I feel like getting to a prelim is a huge success. The monkeys off the back. They can go into the off-season and start to build some combos. Maybe Hines ends up going to fullback. They mix things up a little. I think the Sharks are...
That
quote
then
season.
Just triggered a thing. Jason Demetriou quote, monkey off our back.
Yeah.
Like he said every week early in the year.
All right.
Don't remind me.
Let's wrap this podcast up. It's felt a bit short, Zane. I don't know how long we've been going for, but it's felt short.
2 games, 4 games to talk about. So that was expected.
We will preview, Zane, the NRLW finals. So they've got 2 games this week.
Prelims came quick for them, didn't it?
Yeah, they do a 1-week final series, and then both winners.
The Tigers beat the Sharks.
They did.
Yeah, okay.
The Tigers won their last 2 games and still got the spoon.
Yeah, and the Sharks were like favourite.
Sharks were first, and now they're in 4th. They've fallen off. They lost their last 3 games. So the first game, speaking of the Sharks, it's Broncos, who are the minor premiers, up against the Sharks, who are in their first ever final, and they're the first team to ever be... I don't know if they're the first team. I feel like they might be the first team to be in both prelims. Well, I feel like the Broncos would have been last year. So maybe that's wrong. And Roosters probably.
Last year, who'd the Knights beat? Because it was Roosters. Titans beat the Roosters.
I feel like Broncos.
Let's have a look. No, it wasn't Dragons, was it?
The Sharks are... No, it wasn't Dragons. The Sharks are the only team this year that are in both prelims, is what I was trying to say.
Last year, it was...
Knights beat Broncos.
Yeah, okay.
So they've had 2 teams in it before, but Sharks the Sharks the only team this year in both comps still. So that's worth noting. But Broncos in first, Sharks in 4th. As I said, Sharks 3-game losing streak. Broncos have been flying home late. Who do you think wins this one?
I think Broncos win.
Yeah?
Sharks' downfall continues.
I'm going to back in the Sharks only because they've got a bunch of future Bulldogs and I've been rooting for them. Taylor Preston, the Bulldogs halfback. Dogs win the comp next year. We've got such a good team. Literally last night or the night before, Dragons did their awards for the women's.
Yeah.
And they had a tie for player of the year.
I saw your post.
And both those players have signed with the Dogs. And they're both guns. So Dogs are genuinely building actually such a good roster. It's crazy. I'm confused how the salary cap works. Because the Dogs actually have such a good roster. Yeah, it is. And then the other game, the Knights, who finished 2nd, and they are the reigning back-to-back premiers, up against the Roosters, who went into the season as premiership favourites. So this is a blockbuster clash, Zane.
Just like the men's Roosters team.
Yeah.
No, I think the Knights win. So I think both the Sharks and Roosters are losing the prelims in these as well.
I'm going Knights as well, but both. So you've got Sharks and Roosters losing both prelims. Yeah. So I said the Sharks are the only team in the...
Yeah, Roosters are there as well.
That is the worst stat of all time from me, isn't it? That is actually just disgraceful. I'm trying to say they're the first team to have both teams in the prelim. That was wrong. I'm like, they're the only team this year. No, Roosters are there as well. I tried my best. But so we've got both Knights and then you go on Broncos, I'm going Sharks. Sorry. Who wins the comp? Early prediction.
Well, we can do it next week, but I'm going to say Knights.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm going to go Sharks. Mix it up a little. Okay. Anything else, Zane? Is there anything else you want to touch on? Or
no,
we wrap it up?
On it all. Like I'm saying, go Storm, knock the Scums out, and then the other game I don't really care. But
let me ask you this: who do you want to win the comp? Who do you want? Not who do you think. Who do you want?
I want the Sharks.
Yeah.
I prefer them win over any of the other 4.
Fair enough.
But yeah,
I want Panthers or Storm.
Yeah, I couldn't care if Penrith won. I'd prefer I'd go Sharks, Penrith, Storm, Roosters.
That's
my preference.
I honestly, it's a coin flip for Storm Panthers, and then I'd have Sharks third.
I couldn't care if the Sharks win. I couldn't care if Penrith won. I mean, Melbourne, I'd just be bored.
I wouldn't mind, but
it'd be boring if Melbourne won. And the Roosters, I don't want them to win.
Yeah, fair
Stay
enough.
away from our record.
Yeah, I want Storm or Panthers. Because if it's the same old, it's like I don't really care.
Whatever.
I know too many Roosters and Sharks fans.
Yeah,
that's my issue.
Yeah,
so. I don't know any Storm fan, really.
I don't have an issue with the Sharks at all.
I like Pappenhausen as well.
Yeah, same.
So, all right, that'll do us, baby.
Yes.
We really can't say how we normally conclude it, so...
What do we say now?
I don't know.
All right, sign on. Peace out.
Yeah, good old Danganane. Goodbye!